Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here with Gents. Hope you guys are doing really well. Before too long, I should be able to go on vacation. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's like a month from now, but before I know it, it's gonna be here. I hope. And today I want to talk to you guys about some fragrances that I'm thinking about taking on vacation with me. So it's going to be kind of a tropical deal, tropical getaway, you could say. But I don't want to necessarily go just full on tropical everything, right? So I'm thinking about doing something different with some of these, and other ones are more just standard vacation type scents, I guess you could say. But I'm gonna go over these with you today, and I'm gonna share these 10 fragrances that I'm thinking about taking. So some of these may make it over to the island that I'm hopping over to. Let's check them out. All right, let's kick it off with Italian Love from Dolce & Gabbana. This is the newest light blue flanker. Want to give this one a little bit more wear. Of course, I wore light blue forever a ton, and I love that one. But this one I haven't worn quite as much. So I think maybe I'll take this with me. Yeah, it's grapefruit, ozonic notes, vetiver, and bergamot. The citrus really the star of the show here, especially in the opening. It's got a bit of that rindiness, that sour, bitter feeling that you're gonna get from Light Blue Forever. You're gonna find that in here as well. Just not quite as heavy-handed with it. It's a little bit easier to wear overall than Light Blue Forever. And so I was thinking this one may work out better than Light Blue Forever, even though I love that one. This next one you can find at twistedlily.com. So I'm gonna give you that code GENTS10, saves you 10% off the entire website. So anytime you shop at Twisted Lily, use that code. So the fragrance that I'm talking about is from Amouage. I don't have much of it left. Got enough for a trip, but not much. It is Beach Hut Man. It's got mint, ivy, galbanum, and some woods in the note breakdown. And this is not your typical beach fragrance, even though the name is Beach Hut, which a lot of people didn't really dig when this came out. They were expecting one thing and got another, because it's got a very green feeling to it, a bit herbal, and like I said, woody. So a lot of people were thinking, you know, Beach Hut, that's probably gonna be aquatic and fresh and very lively and maybe citrusy, and that's not what this is. Well, I mean, it's got freshness, but not done in a way that a lot of people would think of when they hear the name. Still though, I really like the fragrance. I think it's a great change of pace type of scent. And I think during the evening, that could work really well. I know a lot of people would think of it as more of a daytime fragrance, but I think during the evening, that could be a surprisingly solid choice. Then next up, we got this honking bad boy right here, Prada L'Homme Water Splash. You can still find this at discounters, I think in like the $60 range, which is really not that bad because this is 150 milliliters, a bit oversized compared to your normal bottle sizes, which is gonna be like 50 or 100 milliliters. So getting a little extra juice here. It's got neroli, iris, ginger, and woods. It's got that soapy iris feeling that you associate with the Prada L'Homme line. Pretty similar to Prada L'Homme Low. Very fresh, great for a very hot day. At least if you're going for this type of scent, it's great for a hot day because it's not potentially cloying like some of these iris-based fragrances can be. Didn't necessarily get a massive amount of love when it was released, but Prada L'Homme Water Splash still pretty solid, and for the time being, you can still find it. Then one that I haven't talked about on this channel ever, I don't think. It is Eden Falls from Micallef. Had this one for a while and have really never given it much wear. So figure might be a good time to bust it out. Now, when I say I haven't really given it any wear, that doesn't mean I've never smelled it. I've worn it a couple times, but definitely I'm not super familiar with it. It's unisex, but it leans a little bit feminine. I think you can still pull it off as a man. It's just not a hyper masculine type of scent. Interestingly enough, when this first came out, the name Eden Falls made me think a little bit of an old trance song from years gone by. Angel Falls, name of the song. Some of you out there are gonna know that, a lot of you won't. And Eden Falls obviously is not Angel Falls, but for some reason that's what I thought of. I can't explain explain it to you. It's got vanilla, bergamot, tangerine, musk, and pink pepper as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's kind of this interesting meeting of worlds where you've got this citrusy freshness, but then it's melding together with a bit of a creamy sweetness underneath the whole thing that you can pick up pretty much right away. You have nothing else. The bottle color, the bottle scheme, everything, the name lends itself really well to a summertime vacation. And then we're going with this one, Aventus Cologne from Creed. You could color me not very impressed when Aventus Cologne came out because it's just what it says it is. It's Aventus Cologne. So it essentially comes across like Aventus that has been freshened up. And for the most part, if I want to wear Aventus, I'll just wear Aventus, not Aventus Cologne. But this is one of those circumstances where I'm thinking, you know, if I'm ever gonna wear Aventus Cologne, this would probably be the time. Going somewhere where it's going to be essentially 88 degrees Fahrenheit every single day, Aventus Cologne could work pretty well. Give you that kind of Aventus versatility that people love, but a little bit easier to wear, a little bit less heavy. Not that Aventus is heavy, but this is obviously lighter. Mandarin, orange, birch, musk, and ginger, some of the notes in the fragrance. Aventus Cologne would essentially be that scent that I pack to basically just spray on when I don't know what else to spray on, but I still want to have something that smells nice and high end. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is from the Ktoret line of Michael Malul. It is San Lucas. Now, this is going to be one of those more obvious choices. If you're going on a tropical vacation, you pack a fragrance that's like a tropical, fresh, sweet scent. That's what this is. So this is basically just playing right into the type of vacation I'm going to take, a little bit more so than some of these other choices. It has apple, iris, lavender, and tonka as some of the notes in the fragrance. Very easy to wear, very modern. The iris that's included in here is going to tie it together with a number of other releases that have come out over the past couple years. That's a very popular note right now, and it's done very well here. It's not really a powdery iris. It's not thick. It's not dense. It's very fresh, melts together with the lavender pretty much right away. And then you have that nice fruity sweetness in the opening that really is going to attract positive attention. And I love the new bottle style of these Ktoret fragrances. They look a lot better now. Then something a little bit different, fragrance that I've loved for a long time. It's from Valentino, and it is Uomo Acqua. This one, to an extent, almost like a redheaded stepchild in the line. Like nobody really seems to talk about it or care about it all that much. All the love goes to Valentino Uomo Intense and the original Valentino Uomo, with good reason. Those fragrances are friggin' awesome. And then the new ones, obviously the Born in Roma fragrances, those are gonna get more attention from younger guys and people that are maybe looking for a really versatile modern fragrance. And so this one is just kind of left out in the cold a little bit. This has iris, once again, a note that I love. It's got mandarin orange and sage, but the note that stands out the most is tomato leaf. Yeah, you don't see that very often, especially in designer fragrances, but it's here and it's front and center right when you spray this on. So it gives the fragrance a very interesting green kind of aquatic feeling to it, like it's been splashed with water. Very fresh, gentlemanly, sophisticated, and it's pretty unique as far as designer fragrances go. So Valentino Uomo Acqua, that one is on the short list, I'd say. I really, really want to bring that one. And we have a fragrance from Commodity. It is Moss. And this is technically Moss Expressive, because now Commodity has their scent space brand identity. So each one of their fragrances has 3 different iterations. So this is Expressive, which was the original Moss. That's in this bottle style. Then you have a white bottle, which is Moss Personal, which is supposed to be basically a toned down version of Moss made more for your own pleasure, I guess you'd say. And then you have the bold iteration of Moss, which also is Moss Plus, and it has kind of a copper coloration to the text. And then the personal one is Moss Minus. So you got Moss Personal, Moss Expressive, and Moss Bold. And the bold is supposed to be the loudest, the one that projects the most, that will get more attention. This one is in the middle, like a Goldilocks. It says right there, scent space expressive for me and the many around me. This one has bergamot, petitgrain, oak moss, and musk. And when you first spray this on, it's a bit similar to Bergamot 22 from Le Labo. So if you're familiar with that fragrance, when you spray this on right in the opening, you may get a little bit of a similarity there. Really nice fragrance, very fresh. It has a good amount of greenery to it, which is something that I love myself. So I think it's something that would work really well in a high heat situation, a high heat place. Touch of class to it, but still easily worn. Now let's get another fragrance that's got a green tinge to it, but in a different way, a different style here. It's Acqua di Parma Colonia Futura. This is one of my newest pickups. I bought this from Joma Shop. I think it ran me about $60 or so. And this is a big bottle, 6 fluid ounces, 180 milliliters. I'm never gonna run out of it, basically. Lemon, bergamot, lavender, and vetiver, some of the notes in the fragrance. Actually a good amount of citrus in here. It's a little bit reminiscent of something like Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette from Dior, but done in a more modern way. Not quite as sharp off the top. The citrus not quite as, I don't mean this in a negative way, but not quite as dated smelling, but it still does have a throwback gentlemanly vibe to it. It's got a bit of that classic Italian cologne style DNA to it, which you would expect because it is, after all, an Acqua di Parma Colonia flanker. Really do enjoy this one, and actually for an eau de cologne, this has pretty decent staying power. It's not bad, not bad, especially for the price. Like I said, paid very little for this. Worked out to just over, I think, 33 cents per milliliter. So yeah, super cheap. And then last but not least, new one from Hermes. It's Terre Eau Givree. And this one I loved as soon as I smelled it. So this one is another one that's very likely to make the trip. Citron, juniper, and wood, some of the notes in the fragrance. Love the opening. It just smells fantastic. I think as far as all the new designer fragrances that I've tried this year, that I've bought this year, the opening of this one is my favorite. It's modern, it's sweet, it's fresh, it has a slight aromatic feel from juniper in there. Great modern woodiness in the base. I know I said modern like twice, but it's very, very good. I was a little bit apprehensive about that before I got it in because I was unsure, how the changes were gonna be, if it was gonna really stand up to the other releases in the Terre line, but I gotta say that one is friggin' fantastic. I would rather wear this one than Eau Fraîche, and that's saying something because Eau Fraîche is an amazing release, but this new Terre I absolutely am gonna take that actually. I'm gonna go ahead and just say that. So some of these others may not make it, that one for sure is coming with me. And that's gonna wrap this one up. So I may do a follow-up, maybe like on location when I go when I go on vacation, and let you guys know what I brought and how it's going and everything like that. Let me know if you guys have gone on a vacation this summer, if you have, what you brought, or if you're gonna go on one, what you're planning on bringing, if anything. And thanks for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.